Greetings. Welcome to Calm, Clear Conversations. I'm Christopher Johnson with Calm, Clear Communications. And with me is none other than the Erica Owens. Hi, Erica.
Hi, thanks for having me.
All right. My voice uncharacteristically went up a little bit. Hi, Erica.
Hi.
Yeah. So the high voice, yeah. We'll edit that out in post. Oh, wait, it's a live event.
Too late.
All right, well, let's just roll with it and have fun.
Yeah, we have to.
So, Erica Owens. So, we know each other through our involvement with TEDx Detroit, where that is such a fun and magical day. And, all right, 10/26, 2022, this year, that's the date for this year's.
hmm Put it on your calendar. Trust us, you don't want to miss this. That's
You
all
don't
we're
want
going
to miss
to
it.
say, but you don't want to miss it.
So, yes, put that on your calendar. And if you are interested in sponsoring, and you should be, because this is a group of thinkers, doers, idea instigators, passionate folk about Detroit and doing better, let us know that you would like to be a sponsor. Send us a note. Send a note to, Terry Bean, myself, Erica. Let us know how we can talk to you about sponsorships. Now, that TEDx Detroit out of the way, let's continue on. Not out of the way. Man, it's already 2022, and that is going to be a big event, and we are already working on it.
hmm
So, Frugal on the Fly, what is it?
Well, it's started as a hub for parents to find free and cheap things to do, to utilize all the stuff in the city and the Metro Detroit area that was maybe they were unaware of. So, free concerts in the park, free museum days, all different STEM activities. So I was raising our son that way of, we had a limited budget, but I wanted to do all the things. And it's also a great way to expose your child to all kinds of things, whether it's music or activities, and they might find an interest that you don't even know about. And all of a sudden they are exposed to something and they're like, oh, I love this. I love robotics, or I want to play the trumpet. So it was nice to, involve him with all those things. So because I was doing that, people are always asking me, like, what can we do? Like, how do you find all these things? How do you do it? I'm like, oh, wow, I just, research it. And then that light bulb moment of like, maybe I should have a spot for it. So created the Facebook page and Instagram and just kind of showed people like what to do, how to do, whether it was with food. It's kind of, on the fly for a reason. I'm not a planner. I'm very spontaneous and adventurous. So that's how we lived our life. Like I looked at a lot of the frugal blogs and different things and I was like, God, it doesn't quite fit my lifestyle. I'm not a meal planner, and you want to do all those things, but this is for the person that just wants a little bit of spontaneity, or wants to grab something fun for that day. So if I put it up, it's like, oh, we're not doing anything tonight, let's go. And to kind of embrace that lifestyle a lot or a little, because you can really find some unique opportunities when someone hands you those free tickets to a game or a concert of music you don't know about, and you're like, we can go. I know it's last minute, but let's try. And so we've had some really, really fun experiences by just taking advantage of the opportunities that are in front of us.
There are so many things to see, do, and experience in and around Detroit.
There
So,
are, yeah.
so one of the things, all right, I had a recent talk you gave. If you're looking for an outstanding public speaker, Erica Owens.
Thank you.
Uh, you sp- Absolutely. At the Be Better in 2022, where we raised funds for childhood literacy, you spoke about finding joy, and you talked about a list of 52 items. All right. If someone wants, how can they get that list?
Yeah, so I've been posting it everywhere, but if you drop a comment, Joy, in the comments, we will send off the list to you. So it'll look like this. And the reason for it was it's just stuff that, my family does, just different fun things. I'm a big one on frugal stuff. So you don't have to spend a lot of money to have fun or do something different or unique. And sometimes you just need a little bump or a little reminder of like, oh yeah, I haven't done that in a really long time. I haven't, built a fort with cushions and blankets in forever, or, had a picnic in the living room, just little stuff like that, just to switch it up. And especially in the winter in Michigan, sometimes the dreary days can get to you and you're just like, we need a little mix up. We need a dance party.
That's a wonderful thing. And see, confirmation, your talk was great.
Aw. It's really been fun. I mean, it was only a couple of weeks ago, and movement has really, grown some legs, which is pretty cool. And Cranbrook Institute of Science has my list at the admissions desk. So when you pay for admission, you can grab one. There's a therapist in town that incorporated it into her clients. So she's giving that to them to find more joy. So parents are using it and putting it on their fridge and they're not all people with kids. I mean, on this list is just lots of ideas that you don't have to do with little kids.
So kids are optional, but
Kids are optional.
Okay, so a couple of items that have been on the list, or that people that you have done this year. What have you done to find some joy?
Yeah, so let's see. On Monday, we had a MLK Day of Service. So a big part of Frugal on the Fly is community outreach and encouraging parents to volunteer with their littles, that there is lots of opportunities. I mean, my son started volunteering at 2.5. So there's lots of different ideas to do little things so they, grow up as a citizen of the community and they're not just in a bubble and you're aware of what's going on, and they want to help. Little kids want to help. They want to do things and they want that joy too of how that feels, and, helping their neighbors or in their community. So on Monday, we were gathering non-perishables at Cranbrook Institute of Science, raising money for Knit for Food. So we're just, kind of raising awareness about food insecurity. It's been on the rise for the last couple of years here, and it's not changing. The child tax credit has ended, so a lot of people aren't back to work, or they're just really struggling. So there's a lot of reasons for that is on the rise. Food cost is very much on the rise, so it's difficult to have nutritious food on the plate every meal.
All right, so Knit for Food. Can you tell us more?
Yeah, I did that last year. So it was the idea of Lauren Nelkin. She's a knitwear designer in New York, and she just had this idea of like, could we be kind of catalyst for change, craftivists, if you will. So craftivism has been a big movement for a really long time, and there's back to suffrage. So there's lots of ways that crafts have been a voice for change. So she's like, maybe we could do this marathon where we all knit and we raise money as we go. So, a couple hundred of us signed up. We're like, this is cool. So you could be a team member and, put it out there like, I'm raising funds for Knit for Food. And lo and behold, and just, I don't know, I think it's like a month, we raised like $285,000.
Wow.
It was incredible. So, the hope was like maybe 50,000, but we just kept increasing the amount, and we all kept increasing our amounts. So, I mean, last time I looked, that the group of us was at, I don't know, like 65,000 already, and the event is February 12th. So last year, the bulk of the donations came in, within 48 hours of doing the event. And this is huge. So we're on a really good track record. Many more people have joined us. So it's pretty cool. So I'll be knitting for 12 hours on February 12th.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And all right, so just coincidentally, it only takes one skein of yarn for a hat for me. Just tossing that out there.
Oh, yeah. I'd love to knit you a hat.
Wonderful. Now, all right, and when you mentioned Your son has been involved in this since he was 2. So this is his normal. This is because you are active in the community and he grows up being active in the community. This is his normal. Um, yeah. So the sooner kids experience the joy of service, the better. It forms that connection to community.
Mhm. Also, a lot of the projects that Frugal on the Fly has done has been kid-led. So we have conversations around the table of like, what is important to you? Where do you see a need? Sometimes it was, I see my friends on the playground and they don't have mittens or hats, so we were just dropping stuff off at school so they could have a library, if you will, of things to grab. Sometimes it was Halloween costumes. So we would donate our older Halloween costumes, and they would have this closet that, kids could enjoy the party at school. But 2.5, he started because we were always feeding the homeless, whether it was big events or small events, giving money or water, granola bars, because I always keep granola bars in the car for emergencies. And one day he's in the back seat and he's like, I want to give it out. So we're at a stoplight. We were right at 8 and Woodward. And I was like, well, I guess, we never really talked about this, but here we are in the moment, right? And I was like, I can't preach these things and not let him do it, right? So I was like, all right. So I hand him a granola bar and he rolls down his window and he handed it to the guy. And it was so, so sweet. They just locked eyes and the guy looked at him. He's like, I love these. And he's like, oh, I'm so glad. And he's like, yeah, I really needed a snack. And he's like, oh, I knew it. So for him, he was like, I did something, and I can
Mhm.
do more things. So at the store, he would pick out his granola bars, lots of times he buys it with a change out of his piggy bank. He has a special piggy bank that's split into 3. So it's like keep, save, give, I think is what they say on them. So he, divides up the change or dollars that he gets for different things. And he decides in the give part, what he's going to do with it. So, that was just how to incorporate small bits along the way. We would sometimes work with programs that did lunches for the homeless, but they could decorate the paper bags. So we do that at home and he could decorate them and put stickers on them and color all over them. And then, I would make the lunches while he was at school. So it's just a lot of different things that we've done that, were important to him, because I also feel like kids have a voice, so they don't always want to jump into things that they might not be that interested in. So if you engage them in a conversation and figure out like, well, what would you like to do? And they're like, oh, wow. So they're taking charge and ownership of that.
Mhm.
Even with the food that we did in June of 2020, we started with 25 families and we ran out really quick and we were giving out free produce. And he said, well, call and see if they have more. And I'm like, oh, you don't understand. I was talking to him like, you're not an adult. Like there's a spreadsheet. Like we all picked, everything's allotted. There's numbers involved. And he's like, I know, but just call. We still have more people. And so finally he just wouldn't let it go. And so I called and they're like, actually an agency didn't show up. We have more food. So you can come back. And, and then it just grew from there because it was kind of his bravery and like thinking outside the box, like, let's just try, what is holding you back from calling and asking? If they say no, but if you don't ask. And I was like, I teach him this. I don't know why I was getting stuck in not doing that. So
Exactly. And see, that's why I like this comment right here. It gives them purpose for sure. And yeah, when you see that you can make a difference, then you make a difference.
mhm, yeah. And really, like, he was part of that food. He was, off school on Fridays. So he was able to pass out that food with me and Hamtramck. And, we grew from that 25 families to feeding 2,000 families every week. And in it was 23 weeks, we passed out over 1 million pounds of produce from our spot in Hamtramck. So it grew and grew and grew. And he was part of that. He was part of seeing how one person can make a difference. It was just me and him deciding like, let's try this. You're off school. I work from home. Let's see what we can do. And, we didn't have experience. We didn't know what we were doing, but we just kept trying and it kept growing and we got the word out and other volunteers joined us and it turned into this huge big movement and it was really cool. And I'm happy that he has that, that he could see that sometimes you just gotta be super brave and try something.
Yeah, that's a good attitude to go through life with. Be brave and try. Be
Hmm.
connected to community and make a difference.
Yeah, it was
Now,
cool. And soon, I think it comes out in 2 weeks. He's a character in a global book series called Young Changemakers. So you probably didn't know that, but
I
so
didn't.
yeah. So that comes out, I think, in 2 weeks. So I saw the shipping container, like they're coming off, and we'll get them soon. So that'll be exciting that is launching. He's pretty excited about it. It's been a long process of a year of the illustrator and waiting for it and reading all about like how a book is self-published by this
Mhm.
author. So that was kind of neat for him that it's a long process and lots of people are involved. So it was pretty exciting for him.
I'm sure it is, and it's a point of pride, well, as a parent.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Now, this is not the only way that you make a difference. At the end of last year, there was a candle,
Oh yeah.
uh, and that was Calm on the Fly?
Yeah, good memory. So Rooftop Candle Company is a woman black owned company in Detroit. And she had reached out to me and said, we'd like to do a give back. We love what you're doing. She watched me for a very long time, was a supporter for a long time of all the different products I'd done, whether it was a coat drive or school supply drive, giveaways, all kinds of stuff. And she said, I'd like to develop something with you. And then 20% of the proceeds goes to your community outreach. I'm like, wow, this is fantastic. So we worked on a scent together and the label. And then, I got to name it. And I was like, well, I'm not the best one for self-care. I really try. But for me, I think the whole self-care concept is important, but a lot of times it's unattainable because they're like, well, you need to set all this time away or you need to do the spa day or different things and not everybody can afford it, or it's such a big event that you don't start small. So for me, it's like with anything, like just start small, take a 15-minute break, do stuff that's easy or simple. So yeah, so Calm on the Fly, you can see
Okay.
it.
Oh, we have a very important question. It did relaunch. It is a
It relaunched this morning. Like the timing of this is kind of crazy. So we sold out really fast in 2 weeks, and it was a great collaboration. And then since then DMs have blown up of like, oh, I missed my chance. So yes, it launched this morning again. So run over. I'm sure we can drop the link in the comments.
absolutely. Sorry, that's two different things now. Drop
Yeah,
joy in the
a
comments
lot of things.
so that you can get a list of these 52 items. Now, also, we'll put in the comments where you can get your Calm on the Fly. Who doesn't need a moment to just
Yeah, I love the
breathe?
scent. Like it's beautiful. It smells so good. And for a frugal person that wants, good money, they're great soy candles and they have a
Mm.
50-hour burn time. So for me, that's like, 51-hour breaks or half-hour break, even more.
Yeah, you know
That's
what?
pretty good. And my friend that commented today, she's like, oh my gosh, mine I love because, I buy Target candles or whatever all the time and you can't smell them after 2 feet away. And she's like, this one smells so lovely. It just fills the room. And so that was a nice compliment.
And the name of the partner,
Rooftop Candle Company.
Rooftop Candle Company, we'll make sure that makes it into the comments as well so that
Yeah,
people can, hey, let's see if we can get that sold out again.
that would be amazing. And I'm just always grateful for the community. Like I always have these wild ideas of different things to do and listen to the community, see where the need is. And if it's, food or it's toiletries or PPE, it's like, okay, heard there's a need here. I'm going to do this thing and gather them at this event. And just an overwhelming amount of people are just always like, yeah, sounds good. Okay, you tell us what to do, tell us where to go. This is great. So I'm just always so grateful. Monday's event was beautiful, and we got to drop off non-perishables to SDM2 education, project education. They're in Detroit, so they have free literacy tutoring for kids. They do a free food fair every Tuesday. They have a community garden, and they do all kinds of really, really cool neighborhood events for like the last 20 years. So it's just one of those that rooted themselves where their home was and then just use their property to just build more things that their community needed. It's pretty amazing.
So it sounds like your son, not far from the tree at all. Being brave, making a difference.
Yeah, he's 9 now, so yeah, he likes doing. So he's always like, what are we doing next? He was right there next to me all day at Cranbrook and, setting up. And every time people would drop off food, he'd make it really attractive and like turn it and make little pyramids and stuff. And it's just really cute. He's just happy to be part of something big. It's pretty cool.
It is. It is.
And he encourages friends. I can't tell you how many friends of his have jumped on board, and parents saying, I didn't realize at this age, I was thinking when they hit middle school. And so my big thing is like, no, there's so many things to do at a younger age, to start now. And then, they can, encourage their friends to do it, and they can do something together.
And you know what? Yeah. And that list of 52 items gives a jumping off point or start where people can springboard from that into other ways to be involved.
Absolutely. Yeah. My friend Brianna, she was cute. She was like, everybody on Monday, get this checklist because we had them printed in the booth. She's like, but by the way, you can knock off like 3 today, because it was like one of them is be, volunteer, be of service to someone. And then another one is leave something better than you found it. We're a big family of that. We clean up the park. We always have rubber gloves and the little grabber claws in the back of the car. So we always clean up the park when we're there. I mean, there's just such little things that you can do to just kind of leave a little better than you found it.
Yeah. That it brings to mind a story of a couple, and they would walk this path, and one of them would grumble. It's like, oh, somebody really needs to get rid of the trash. Oh man. And somebody really needs to. And then they stopped and wait, we're somebody, we can do this.
Yep.
You can making a difference.
Yep. And it's really simple and easy. And there's just little things like that. Like if you find yourself saying, I wish this or I wish that, and you're in that space all the time, it's like, wait a minute, well, what could we do to make this different? And there's lots of reasons why it's not cleaned up, Could be a shortage of people available to do it. So, I mean, there's all kinds of cool organizations in Detroit too, like the Lawnmower Gang, where they, mow Detroit parks, because they're just, isn't enough services around. So it's like, well, what could we do? I got a mower, I got some gas. This park is down the street. Like, let's do this. So there's lots of little stuff that you can do.
And as a callback, they spoke at TEDx Detroit. So, and it talked about, I have a mower, I have some gas, I have the ability and the time to make a difference. All right, sure, let's make a difference.
Yep.
It is, it's not solving the big, overwhelming, well, gee, I can't make a difference. Well, you can make a difference where you are by starting and making that difference.
Oh yeah, there's definitely people in your neighborhood too when they're sick or they, broken a leg. Do they need groceries? Do they need help with their yard or leaves or different things throughout the year? It's like, yeah, there's lots of ways to make a difference.
And being connected to community, that's one of the ways to experience and spread joy. What is coming up?
What is coming up? So Knit for Food, definitely February 12th. So we're, on a big campaign every day to raise funds for that. And the funds go to Meals on Wheels, World Central Kitchen, No Kid Hungry, and Feeding America. And 100% of the donations go there. So nothing's taken, which is great.
That's a beautiful thing. So,
Yeah. In
uh,
Cranbrook, I heard like there was whisper when I was there on Monday. They're like, "Hey, do you want to do this again?" So I was like, "Yeah." So I think I'm going to do it on their next free day, which is President's Day. So we'll have some
very
sort of
nice.
arm of service at their next free admission day.
And President's Day is?
I think it's February 21st, but don't
So
quote me
that
on that
that
one.
gives you enough time after the knit. All right, are your wrists ready?
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
What will you be making?
I love knitting socks, so that would probably be one. And I love knitting hats, so I'll probably have a couple items because as a knitter, it's especially a marathon knitter, it is a really good idea to have multiple projects and different weights of yarn and different needle sizes for less fatigue. Because if you're always doing the same thing for hours on end, there's no change in your hands or your movement. So if you have different needle size and stuff, you can actually knit for a longer period of time. So I'll
Okay.
probably rotate through a few things.
And the way people can make a difference with that is through donation. And
Yes, and we can drop that link too. So
okay.
I have a special link for myself.
So yeah, we'll make sure all those links get into the uh, comments on all the platforms. So this is on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube.
Nice.
And those items that we've mentioned will be on all of those places so that people can make a difference and people can be connected to community.
Yeah, and also, I mean, feel free anyone that's watching to DM me because we're always looking for volunteers at different events. So if you want to be on that list to inquire of how, a lot of people, there's different ways to serve. You don't always have to give money or things, but if you have time, like that is really, really helpful.
And if you have a skill in knitting,
Yes, join me.
okay. Because I know a few knitters. I'm going to strongly encourage them to
Thank you.
make a difference. Yeah. And let's see. Oh, so people can DM you for volunteer opportunities.
Hmm.
They can DM both of us for TEDx sponsorship opportunities,
Yeah.
October 26th,
And even
Ford
talks too.
Field.
Like I'm slated to do another talk on joy with seniors. So if someone else wants the 52 ways to find joy, I'd love to talk to more students and seniors or different community groups with the talk and with that list. So we can spread this around more.
Absolutely. So
And
for
I
a
have a private,
rock star,
yeah, and I shouldn't say private. I have a public Facebook group now called Frugal on the Fly Joy Journey, so people can share in there how they're using the checklist, what they're doing. So to kind
okay.
of, yeah,
And so you're going to speak there. And so, hey, it sounds like exactly what I was saying at the beginning for a rock star public speaker about joy and community. Seek Erica Owens out. Seek out the Erica Owens to be your speaker about joy, connection, community, and all of those wonderful things.
thank
Yes?
you, thank you.
Okay. So we have reached about the end of this. A couple of quick
Are there
questions for
people in
you.
there? Does anyone have questions?
Well, let's see. There are not a question, but a statement.
I need a hat. Yeah. Okay.
You know,
Who doesn't? I
hey,
had one on earlier. That's my hair so flat.
kudos from our friend Jenna.
Oh, Jenna's a rock
So
star herself. She's a
she
lovely
is.
human.
She is. So a couple of quick questions for you. All right. What media are you consuming? What should we be reading, watching, ingesting that will give us pause, give us a moment of excitement or joy?
Me,
A
like,
TV show or a podcast or
oh, love the show. I think it's called Emily's Wonder Lab. Don't quote me on it, but she's a NASA scientist and did a kids show on Netflix about science experiments. We love Weird But True. I think that's might be a Nat Geo thing. We love, one of the things on the list is like go on a Google rabbit hole. And that was part of my talk. And kid led is really fun. But if you find yourself like wondering about something, how it's made, like how it started, like just stop and do it and Google. It's so fascinating. So the other day, like Padraig was like, hey, what's the oldest shark? And I was like, I don't know, because he's on sharks right now. So we Googled it. The Greenland shark can live to 500 years old. So the average is 350 years old. So we read about gestation and their lifestyle and what they eat and where they live. And it was just fascinating. So it's really cute to just, kind of delve into this world that you don't know about. We love documentaries. So
That is all right. I'm still fascinated about the shark. I
you
mean,
need to
up
look
to
it up.
500 years?
When we were in Cranbrook on Monday, this one of the employees was telling him all about the T-Rex, and he was super fascinated, looking at bones and looking at the femur. And then he's like, do you know about the Greenland shark? And he didn't. And so Patrick just went on this huge speech about how fascinating it was. He's like, I'm going to look it up. He's like, you need to. It's really cool.
Yeah. I mean, hey, you think about a few generations of sharks that live for 500 years. It's like, wow, I mean, huh.
The other thing that
Very
we are
impressive.
loving lately is people that have Instagrams about their dollhouses and miniatures. Have you ever looked at them? They're amazing. Like some of them have complete mid-century modern houses and everything is just tiny, tiny and, the size of a penny. And so we love like watching all those videos on that. And in my Instagram stories, I have a few like accounts. I'm like, you need to follow this. You need to follow this. There's one UPS driver. I can't remember is he in New Orleans? And his whole Instagram page is like just him holding dogs on his route. Have you seen this guy?
No.
It's so happy. Some of the dogs are smiling, and like it brings so much joy to look at this guy's account. It's fascinating. So just like when people do silly, fun things, like just for the joy of doing it and for others to enjoy too. But that one's a fun one.
Well, that sounds great. And I've just placed into the chat your Instagram,
Oh, thanks.
as well as the LinkedIn and Facebook for Frugal on the Fly.
Thank you.
So the call to action for those that are watching this either live or on replay, put the word joy in the comments so that you can receive a list of the 52 items that you can do. Some days you could knock off 3 in one location, it sounds like, at Cranbrook. Their next free day is, you said February 21st, President's Day?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you can have that list in hand before then so that you can be ready. The other item, circle and mark October 26th on your calendar, TEDx Detroit 2022. And, rooftop candles. The limited edition candle is back. Burns for 50 hours, 51-hour breaks of calm, which sounds really appealing.
Yes.
This has been a delightful conversation. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for having me. This was fun.
All right. Be well all, and next time.
Enjoy your joy journey.